Okay, so now my sad bar fight story needs a nosebleed or two. So let's talk about how to add a nosebleed. We will largely be using the brush tool again, but this time we're going to learn a little bit about how the brush tool works. Grab a regular old brush here all the way at the top, a hard edge with just slightly soft on the end. And up here at the top, also in your option bar, this is your blending mode as well. So you can change your blending mode up here and you can change it down here just the same way as you can change your opacity here as you can change it up here. We're going to change it to multiply so that as we paint, and I'll grab my red blood color here, so that as we paint, and I'm going to get a new group for the split lip, and move them in. Remember, if you hold shift and click on the first and last one, you can drag them all at one time. Now I'll get a new layer and I'm going to just kind of mess around here just to show you how it works. So as I paint, it's going to get darker and darker and darker. So that's how this multiply up here works. Now, obviously, that is not what the nosebleed should look like. So let's change a few more things. We changed the multiply up here and we changed our brush back to a normal brush. Now we're going to go over here to your brush palette. And we've got a lot of options here. We will not be talking about all of these options, nor will we be changing all of these options today. But you could have a lot of fun just kind of playing around and seeing how these work. For example, this is your regular old size, so it makes it larger and it makes it smaller. Same thing as it does up here in your option bar. This is your hardness here. Other things that you have that you don't have up here, one is spacing. So watch this thumbnail down here as I change that. That means that they're spaced really far apart. They're essentially dots, and when you drag across, you make a dotted line. But when they're really close together, you don't see the difference. It makes a solid line. And we don't want to space it completely. We'll bring it out just a little bit. Other things we're going to change in your shape dynamics. Instead of having just one shape, we're going to change it so that it's got multiple shapes. And watch my thumbnail down there, and you'll notice it has some larger shapes and some smaller shapes mixed in. We're going to pull that up pretty high. If you click over here to scattering, we're going to scatter these out a little bit, not too far. I'll show you what scattering does. That changes our brush a lot, doesn't it? But we don't want to go quite that far. We still want to be able to have some control, but what we're doing essentially is giving up some of the control. So we can't make a straight line anymore, which is good because blood doesn't always fall in a straight line, does it? And then over to transfer, we're going to pull up the opacity jitter too. Now watch as I pull this up. See that thumbnail down there? Basically, some of these are going to be more opaque than others. So instead of what we had before, which was all that solid red color, now some of them are going to be a little bit transparent. And this is what you get. So that's going to help it look like some of the blood is kind of dried on and some of it's more fresh.